This should be played at high volume.
Yeah. Do you have vision, man? You know what lies ahead? Come on. About to break y'all something new. Yeah. Let's get it.
We are with Lars Youngvik, cross-country skier. He's over in Italy. He's here to chat to us on Vision Eyes on the Prize. Welcome, Lars.
Thank you so much, Jordan. It's great to be here.
Now, we were just talking before we started. You're over there and it's just been a huge dump of snow. We're over here and it's 40-degree weather. What's it like for you getting into that sort of winter spirit being over there in the sport that you love?
It's pretty easy for us. Like we have a pretty hectic competition schedule from early November. So we've all been in the winter for a couple months now, and yeah, can't complain about a dump when you're doing snow sports, can you? So yeah, we've as I said, we've like competed for almost 2-3 months now, and it's getting closer. But yeah, it's nicer with around 0 degrees and a big dump compared to like minus 20 or 25 that we had earlier this season. So not complaining.
So you're warming up.
Yeah, we're warming up. It's looking warm in the village as well. I can say that. So yeah, definitely warming up a bit.
We'll get into that Olympic spirit and we'll kind of segue into the warming up sort of thing. Competition wise,
Yeah.
how are you looking regarding your cross country skiing?
I think personally looking pretty all right. I was a bit sick over Christmas with the flu. It's been pretty tough here in Europe this year. So um, hopefully I've been training well kind of since then. Bit up and down, as you know, like it can affect the body in different ways. But yeah, still have just under 2 weeks until my first comp. So I have some time to tune the body. But I'd say I'm looking pretty good right now. Yeah.
We'll have plenty of people watching you over there and cheering you on. You're wearing the Australian colours there. Let's have a chat about that uniform. Compared to the last Olympic Games that you competed in, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, it's definitely a different approach for me. Last time in Beijing, the selection came like a bit out of nowhere. Like with my results that season, I did expect to get selected, but I was quite young. I was 20 at the time, and the goal wasn't really to go to Olympics. Or like, of course, I was dreaming about it, but it wasn't the main goal, kind of. So back then, I was much more in. I didn't really know what I was going to. It was all about kind of gaining experience, and of course, once you're there, you always want to perform. But yeah, going to something like the Olympics was just massive. I didn't really know what to expect. It was in a very weird place of the world compared to what we usually race in, and yeah, just lots of new impressions, and I was definitely more there for the experience and learning. And I told myself that if I manage to get to the next ones, I'll be there to really perform and compete. So this time, I'd say I'm 4 years older. I've done lots of training, and the focus now is definitely more on the performance side, and I kind of all these extra things around. I've kind of done that before, and it's a bit familiar. So yeah, definitely more performance focused in one way, kind of.
Perfect. Now I understand young Lars had a gentleman to look up to, and that was your uncle. Is that how you got into the sport?
Um, I wouldn't really say so. Like, for some background, like my dad's Norwegian and my mum's Australian, so I've grown up in Oslo and in Perth. So I kind of just grew up skiing in Norway. My dad was an athlete, Nordic combined, as my uncle. And my mum was on the Australian national team for orienteering. So as a kid, kind of always just did a lot of sports growing up. That was kind of what we did as a family on the weekend. So yeah, yeah, kind of was just brought into it by mum and dad. Mum's actually a pretty good skier, even though she's from Perth. But
Only
yeah,
sand dunes,
so
yeah, there's only sand dunes over there, so
yeah, exactly.
that's all right. Well, yeah, it's
um,
amazing that you've been able to venture all the way from there, and understanding that you grew up in Oslo.
yeah,
When was your first memory of chucking on the skis there and getting yourself into cross country skiing?
it's difficult because like I would say I have a specific memory. Like apparently I put on skis uh, like at 1 or 2, so obviously can't really remember that. Skiing's just always been a part of life. Even if like school in Norway, we would have ski days, and I would ski with my mates. Probably started like training or like with other kids at like 7 or 8. So I'd say the first memories would be just like those easy, those kind of like trips on the weekend with my family, just in the local forest in Oslo, bringing out some chocky, and they'd kind of yeah, they bring chocky or like hot chocolates or stuff like that to kind of make me and my sister go an extra K, or that was always kind of what it was built around. So yeah, don't really have a specific memory. It's kind of just always been there, I guess. Just
The
been a
great
part of life.
Australian art of bribery. I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, we're all about drive here at Vision Eyes on the Prize. What's now driving you? You've talked about being in this current Olympic cycle here. Is that what is pushing you, or what's pushing you at the moment?
I think it's always just striving for improvement. It's obviously for the past 4 years, Olympics has been the big goal and kind of always in the back of my mind. But honestly, it's always we had a massive world champs in Norway last year, and we compete on the World Cup week in and week out, and it's all about just feeling like you can get the best out of yourself, and then tr- wake up every day and think, what can I do today that will make me a better skier? So it's difficult. Obviously, you have the main races that kind of fuel that fire, I guess, like the Olympics or the World Champs, or but for me, I think it's all about just improving my general level. If I perform really well at a World Cup, or World Champs, or Olympics, it doesn't really matter. I just want to become as good of a skier as I can, and just just really just really perform at my best. Really, I
Do
think
you
that's kind of what's
do you
driving me.
face setbacks at all? Do you have any that you've had to overcome?
Yes, for sure. Like as an endurance athlete, you kind of always on the line in training, like finding that balance between overdoing it and not overdoing it. You hear about people doing tons of hours, and you're thinking, oh, is this what I also should do to become the best? And then sickness is a big thing. As an endurance athlete, like something like a cold is enough to keep you on the line for a bit. Like, and I've definitely had my fair share of those kind of. Even just now with Christmas, getting the flu, it's not a big thing, but you're out for a week, and the body feels a bit weird when you get back into it, and it's enough to kind of stress you a bit, and it's not obviously not anything you want for your mental preparations for the games either. So I've definitely had some setbacks, but I haven't had those big injuries or stuff like that. So I've been lucky to kind of avoid the massive ones, but definitely had my fair share of small setbacks, I'd say.
Well, let's turn it around in a positive light. Let's sell the sport that you love to those that are going to be watching the Winter Olympics. We're excited about it over here in Australia. Tell
Yeah.
us what it is and what you'll be doing during your time there in Italy.
So cross country skiing is the endurance sports of the Winter Olympics. I like to my Australian friends and family, I always kind of compare it to the triathlon for Australians. It's a lot of the same training. We competed distances from 1.5 kilometers, the sprint, up towards 50 kilometers, and you have people doing all the different races. So we race a 1.5k, we race a 10k, we race a 20k, we race a relay, and we race a 50 kilometer. And it's really the tough work in the Winter Olympics, I'd say. It's it's a very big sport, lots of competitors from a lot of different nations. I think it's the most diverse sport in the Winter Olympics this time. I think there's about 148 men's and women's quotas, so almost 300 athletes competing in our sport at these games. And you'll have representatives from all the different continents, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Now, we look at sports and idols and icons. Who's the, if you want to say, Tom Brady of your sport, and who do you look up to?
The Tom, that's a bit of a tricky one, because I'd say the GOAT of our sport, he's still skiing and he will be competing at these games. It's a Norwegian fella, Johannes Klæbo. Last year at the World Championships, he won 6 out of 6 golds. And he, on the weekend, just won his 108th World Cup victory, I think. So he has a win rate at the World Cup of about 80%, I think. And he's going now for his 3rd games. I think he already has about 8 golds from the previous ones. But he's definitely the GOAT. He's the first one to kind of be able to win both the sprints and the 50Ks and everything in between. And it's just incredibly inspirational to see what he's able to do. Also a bit concerning, because you're thinking, how is this possible? Like, I don't understand it really. And then there's another Norwegian guy, Petter Northug. He was kind of the one who made skiing cool at one point, just kind of this really like rock star. Not as good as Klæbo, really dominant as well, but he was kind of this cool personality. And I'd like to bring to mention Philip Bellingham as well, our own rock star in Australian skiing, I'd say. Going for 4 Olympic Games for cross country skiing, and is now going for his 5th in ski mountaineering. He's definitely someone we all look up to here on the Aussie XC team. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, you've spoken about the people that inspire you in a sense. When your name gets mentioned to younger people, like, what does it feel to you that you could be inspiring to them? How does that make you feel?
To be honest, it's a weird feeling. Like, I still feel like I just turned 25, but I still feel like I'm kind of young and I have so much to kind of achieve in this sport. And I still have my idols that I look up to, and it's weird to think that there could be someone out there that's kind of looking up to me. Yeah, I think it's a big thing among Olympians and in sports in general, that you have this kind of like imposter syndrome where you're just a normal person kind of, and you can't really understand why someone would look up to you or think what you're doing is cool, because like this kind of always someone doing it better than you. But yeah, I think as of now we have a really strong team here in Australia, and we're on the way up, and I think it's important that we can kind of try to get kids to watch the sport and realize that this is something you can do coming from Australia as well, and it's possible to challenge the best in the world.
Do you have would they be your words of advice to a young Jimmy or Janie that are sitting there or listening to this? Do you have any other words?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think like we've even shown it. Rosie, one of my teammates, she's grew up in Sydney and born in Sydney, and she medaled last year at the World Under-23 Championships, first Australian medal in cross-country skiing ever, really showing that it is possible. We're kind of like this underdog nation. we don't have as much funding as the big nations, and we don't have the big wax trucks, and we don't have the big support staff and all of that. But still, every weekend we're beating people from the big nations and showing that it is possible. And I think if we can kind of keep going in the direction we've been going now for the past couple of years, I think there's kind of no limitation to what we can achieve. So yeah.
What excites me about Winter Olympics is you can, like, I first started my journey interviewing athletes, and I interviewed a hurdler by the name of Kiara Redingus. Now, I was watching the Winter Olympics a couple of years ago, and I remember watching the luge and going, "Wait a minute, hold on, she is a Winter Olympian." And we've also got Simone Di Silvestre, I believe, V8 supercar driver, who's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
She's been named in some teams I saw, but it's amazing that you can transfer those sort of qualities.
Yeah, 100%. I think in a lot of the sports, like if you're a good athlete, you can always kind of make the switch. We see in the aerials team, a lot of them are girls from Queensland and that have transitioned from gymnastics to aerials, and I feel like in Australia you kind of do need that sort of pathway to get people into winter sports. Even for cross country skiing, like if you have an engine, if you have a background from cycling or triathlon or running, I think obviously it's a sport relying a lot on technical abilities, so you do need to be able to ski quite well. But as long as athletes can do everything, and I think that kind of it's the same in our sport. If you have a good background, like there's nothing that can stop you, kind of. So yeah.
Oh, 100%. I ran my first marathon last year, so I'll see you in 4 years. We'll just get working the skiing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's fine. I know I won't make it. That's okay. I'm talking to you though, a legend. Let's go back to the start where we were speaking about this Olympic Games. What's the vibes in the Australian camp? What's it like there in Italy for you, where you're staying?
The XC team, we currently in the place Toblach, close to the Austrian border. So we have our like last pre-camp here before we travel to the village. I'd say it's a very good vibe. It's mixed between a bit more experience and younger skiers. We are 3 men and 4 women on this team. All 3 guys went to Beijing, so me, Sebi, and Hugo, and then all the girls. This will be their first games. So a good mix between some of us that have done this before, and then a lot of excitement from the people that have never gone. I think we have a pretty good base in the team. We've raced together for many years now. It's a young team. We're all about the same age. And yeah, we've done multiple world championships together and other big events that are not that different to the Olympics in terms of the race venue and setup in that way. Obviously Olympics, you have a lot of extra noise and stuff happening. So that's always a bit interesting to see how that will kind of play out. But I think we have a really good vibe in the team. We know we have a good setup in the village. We have good techs that we know well, and I think everything kind of is ready for us to really perform at our best. So, and we all know that. So that's a very nice, or like it's a good feeling we have, kind of.
And we wish you the best of luck with that, and of course not only yourself but your team there. The locals, that's a very big aspect when it comes to the Olympic Games. How are they treating you over there? Understanding that you're at a camp now. But yeah, tell us what it's like for you and the experiences.
Yeah, so we stayed in this hotel, and super friendly staff. They're obviously quite interested too, or like it's pretty easy to see the kit. Like we're all kitted out now, so it's Australia and green and gold everywhere. So you can't really kind of you understand what's going on, kind of. And now every time we stop on a drive to get some snacks or some foods, everyone's like, "Oh, you're here for the Olympic Games," and it really seems like the whole country is getting around it, and super friendly. and just very keen to hear what we're up to and wishing us the best and everything. I think it's a very positive vibe in all these towns and villages, because everyone's kind of connected in one way or another. So yeah, really, really nice.
Well, speaking of positive vibe, it's like that here in Oz. We're keen to get these winter games started, and I wish you the best of luck on your journey over there in Italy, and of course the future. Is there any final words that you have for us regarding the games? Tell the people why they should watch.
I think everyone in Australia should watch the games, because there's just a bunch of people from Australia. We're kind of fighting the odds. Not a lot of snow, and we're up against. We have this kind of underdog mentality, but we've also slowly evolved into being a force you can reckon with. Kind of, we see that in many of the sports, and I think the Australian people should watch, because we're doing everything for the country. Hopefully, bring back some medals and some golds, and I think you'll be watching some history being made in Italy this year.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Lars, young Vic,